Throughout these past 4 weeks, the Toronto Raptors have completely shifted the trajectory of their squad by trading two of their cornerstone pieces in Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby in 2 separate trades, and to say the least, the returns they got in these trades should have Raptors fans extremely excited for the future by getting a nice mix of super promising young talent and valuable draft capital. So in this video, we'll be talking about how the Toronto Raptors are looking like one of the most promising teams in the NBA, while shifting into a rebuild with their young core as their focus point. Before discussing the magnitude of these trades, we need to first talk about how the Toronto Raptors got to this point in the first place. This all started after the Raptors had a very disappointing year last year, where the NBA world saw them place 9th in the East, just hitting the 500 mark and losing and winning 41 games each. Meanwhile, they just placed 5th in the East the year before. This past season, they saw Fred VanVleet, their star point guard, walk in free agency to the Houston Rockets, while not getting any compensation or making any improvements to their roster. This season up to this point has been more of the same, as they're currently 12th in the East with a losing record. This created the reality that changes had to be made in Toronto, and while Scottie Barnes is in the midst of a breakout third year, where we're seeing him average 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game off amazing efficiencies and an improved 3-point percentage at 37%, the front office decided he should be the cornerstone going forward to build around, being he's only 22 years old and the rest of the roster is much older. Almost a month ago, the Raptors made their first blockbuster trade by trading OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, and Malachi Flynn to the New York Knicks for Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and a second-round pick. Although the Raptors lose one of their best players in Anunoby, they brought Barrett, who is having the best season of his career in 10 games with the Raptors so far, averaging 20.2 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, playing perfectly into the Toronto Raptors system, and returning to his hometown of Toronto. On top of this, they brought in Immanuel Quickley, who finished second in 6th Man of the Year voting last season, and ranks top 5 in total points and plus-minus off the bench this season. Quickley's having another career year this year, averaging a career high in points throughout the whole season, and in 10 games with the Raptors is averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, while shooting substantial career high in 3-point percentage at 45.2% off the most attempts he's ever taken while in a starting role. Despite this being a small sample size, the future and fit for these two former Knicks is looking really bright with the Raptors. Just recently, the Raptors traded away another one of their cornerstone players in Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers in exchange for Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks. Siakam has easily been the second, or arguably the best player on the Raptors, averaging 22.2 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 4.8 assists per game. And despite losing him, Toronto got significant compensation. Bruce Brown has established himself as an above-average role player over the past 2 seasons, playing a big part in the Denver Nuggets championship run last season, but still has made contributions this season for the Pacers. Although he likely won't be a big part of the Raptors' future, Brown still holds big value in the trade market, and the Raptors will likely get some good value for him. But the big prize here is the 3 first-round picks. In today's day and age in the NBA, getting 3 first-round picks in a trade is extremely hard, and the Raptors were able to pull it off. 2 of the first-round picks the Raptors got are for this upcoming draft, with one belonging to Indiana and the other being the lesser of a Utah, Houston, Clippers, or Thunder's pick. The 3rd first-round pick will be a 2026 from Indiana. Although this draft is seen to be one of the weaker drafts in recent history, a lot of people don't talk about the value of late first-round picks in a draft like this. There's not many differences in players projected in the top 10 and top 20 this year, and a lot of guys who were once projected in the top 10 like DJ Wagner, who's steadily improving throughout the season, are falling in the early 20s in mock drafts. And DJ is an example of a guy who will be a potential option available for the Raptors. The Raptors also get a massive salary dump by trading Siakam, who is likely going to walk in free agency that summer, and fully shift to a roster looking to rebuild in the draft and have a nice young core of young players, mostly under 25 years old, in Scottie Barnes, Barrett, and Immanuel Quickley, who all have playoff experience in their short careers. Going forward, the Raptors need to key on building their roster slowly through the draft and getting more young players who align with their team's vision. With the Raptors front office going all out in the 2019 finals run, they currently are backtracked with their whole roster gone from that year. Every move going forward needs to be revolved around Scottie Barnes. Barnes is a unique talent who brings a lot to the table. With his size at 6'7" and 240 pounds, he's extremely wiry, lengthy, and runs with long strides and has elite athleticism, anticipation, and instincts with a filled-out frame. Barnes knows how to use his talents to get to the basket and score at will, and is also at his best in the open floor, making plays for himself and his teammates. On top of this, Barnes is also an elite defender, both in the perimeter and the post, and shows he has a lot more potential than what he already has produced. Despite facing challenges in his second season, Barnes shows the potential to become a star player, leveraging his size, agility, handle, and vision. It's going to be really important for Barnes to keep improving his shot. For him to fulfill his potential and emerge as a key player for the Toronto Raptors, having a shot will be vital. His improvements this year with his three-point shot not only opened up new dimensions in his offensive game, but has also provided better spacing for the team and enhanced efficiency around the rim due to altered defensive approaches. Giving Scottie more room to grow, more responsibility, and more touches will only further help build his game up and make him ready to be the cornerstone of this squad. Barnes is the type of prototypical player who a team can build around. I see a lot of similarities to Giannis Antetokounmpo with him, and if the Raptors can manage to put the right pieces around Barnes, including floor spacing threats and dynamic big men, while embracing an open court play style, the Raptors might have the best roster built for them. Masai Ujiri and the Raptors front office have historically shown they're excellent in scouting out NBA prospects, and with this likely being a 2 to 3 year rebuild before the Raptors get back into playoff contention, I have no doubt Ujiri will maximize the boatload of draft capital he obtained. While this upcoming 2024 draft is looked upon as a weaker one, the 2025 and 2026 draft, despite being long away, are seen as much stronger drafts that could accelerate the Raptors' timeline. Toronto currently owns 2 first-round picks, with its own top 6 protected. As the Raptors will likely be at the bottom of the NBA by the end of the season, they will have a great chance at getting their own first-round pick back, which will give them 3 in this draft, with 2 from the Siakam trade. They'll have their own unprotected first in 2025 and 2026. On top of that, they'll also have Indiana's pick in 2026 as well. If Toronto can manage to hit on one of those picks to become a star like Scottie Barnes, the Raptors will be on the trajectory they want to be on. They will also need to land some good role players with the remainder of those picks if possible. The Raptors should also look to keep swapping their current role players for more compensation, like draft picks or young players. With Toronto's current salary cap situation, they also will be in contention to get some good players in free agency, with these next few summers looking to have some pretty strong free agency classes. Overall, the Raptors are looking like they have a bright future ahead. By trading 2 of their best players, they look to gain draft capital and good young players in return. Their main focus for the future is to build around Scottie Barnes as the cornerstone of the franchise, and develop their young players like Immanuel Quickley and Barrett, who have shown great potential in their times with the Raptors. With the assets the Raptors currently have and the intelligence of Masai Ujiri and the Toronto's front office, I think the Raptors are going to be in a very, very good shape in the years to come, and could potentially be championship contenders in just a few short years away.